Hey, we're live. I'm live. Welcome to Sweetcast live stream. I decided I'm gonna start a little early. I've got a couple guests coming on tonight, but I just figured I have a lot of stuff to catch people up on. So I want to catch people up on a bunch of stuff. So we're gonna do that. In the meantime, while we're waiting, I should say, that's the plan. Anyway, all right, here we go. So I'm pulling up the stream here, making sure I'm definitely live. That's a good sign. Cool. All right. So the point of tonight, the point of this live stream is that we are, I'm going to share this out on Twitter. Thrilling Comics is relaunching. And basically this was my very first opportunity to be published by somebody else. That's the point. So it was cool. I wrote this, oh gosh, it's been over a year, well over a year that I wrote it. I wrote a Silver Streak story in it. It was really fun to reimagine a character, and it was also like, oh, I'm doing a story off of an existing thing. So it was kind of like almost like I revamped a character. So that was really fun to do. I enjoyed doing it. David Furr is also on the project. He'll be on tonight. He's coming in, and he has a really cool story. He did the Black Terror is his story, and then we also have Chuck Dixon as the other writer. So I'm really excited about it. I'm excited that it's relaunching. They learned some things. It's not one that I'm myself publishing. It's me being published, essentially, is what we're talking about. So, and some of the people were asking last time, some of the misconceptions were that it was Antarctic Press. It is not at all Antarctic Press. So I don't know why people kept saying that. It's just not. This is David Furr's publishing, and I don't want to say too much, but I know he's trying to build it up into something. So I'm excited for him. He's going to be on tonight, and we're going to talk about it. It's been a long time since I have streamed, so I appreciate the patience. I've been deciding that streams are not really my favorite thing to do. I like making the pre-recorded videos. Streaming can be fun, but I'm not gonna lie, it gets a little rough because it's like it's just seen as sort of like it's seen as like a part of the media circuit for every single comic book that's being that's coming out, and so everybody's always contacting me to get on to Sweetcast. They're always hoping that I can get them on Ethan's channel. I can't get anyone on Ethan's channel, but I mean, most people are really cool about it and stuff. But I'm not gonna lie, it gets to be a bit much. And so I don't know, I just stream less. It hasn't been as fun. Anyway, so Clint is broadcasting from the doghouse. Have you guys noticed how small this looks now? I got a new camera and it's wide angled, I guess, or something. You can see more. Before I was filming it with a potato, and now it makes my room look tiny. So I got to add more stuff back here. I might even hang up my guitar, and I don't know. We'll see what else I can do. I got posters up here. You can see what over here. The Ballad of No. So yeah, anyway, I'm looking forward to it. Hello to the chat, everyone that's here with Billy Blasco. Yo, hello. Fenair Fire, hail to you as well. Virtue Comics is here. I love that name, Virtue Comics. K Manifesto's here. Razmaz is here. Let's see. I got Fenrir Fire. Did I already get you? I did, yeah. K Manifesto. All right, here's one. Primetime Fry. Hello. Trevor Nelson says, Ola from downtown. Brickyard in the house. Isn't it past your bedtime here in Salt Lake City? It's late-ish, but that's kind of usually when I stream. It's past the kids' bedtime, and that's the main thing, is that I can stream when they're not here. Paul Riley is here. Hello. I Borrow Ideas is here. Clint is broadcasting from the doghouse. We already covered that one, but yes. Thanks for pointing that out. And also, David Furr is here on the stream as well. Hi, David. How are you doing?
How's it going?
Good. Your audio seems really hot right now. I don't know if you can adjust that. But
too loud?
Yes.
I'll see what I can do.
Wait a minute. I'll take you off just for a minute, and I'll let David work on that for a bit. Did I forget to say hi? Oh, I said hi twice. Let's see. Unqualified Comics is here. Sup, K. Hello. A coach in lunacy is here as well. Welcome, welcome. All right. And then I know David's working on his audio. Second half of the I don't know what you'd call it, the trust. Shannon Smith here. Hello.
Hey, Clint. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good.
David, that sounds so far like the background noise sounds a lot better.
Oh, okay. I do live in a noisy area. There's a hospital down the street from me.
It's when you talk, it's super loud still, but I don't know if you have the ability to turn it down just a bit. I don't think I do. But
maybe I'll just whisper.
wait, edit mic settings. Hold on, I think I got this. No, it's mic volume is in beta testing and I can't change it. Darn. That would have just solved the problem. All right, welcome. And I think what I'm going to do here is share the campaign as well. Here we go. Thrilling Comics. This has been sitting here for a little while, so I'm going to refresh it so we're up to date. $535. This just launched not long ago. And I don't know, maybe I'll start with David. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the legacy, I guess, of Thrilling Comics? This might look familiar to some people out there.
Sure. So some might recognize this. That we attempted in, was it late 2019? I think it was, to launch a graphic novel by the same name. And the idea is that we wanted to bring together several creators. We have a story by Chuck Dixon, myself and Clint, and various artists working in each project. And we wanted to just give a chance for ourselves to try to play around the public domain properties and bring it about. We didn't quite reach goal for a graphic novel. So we decided we did decent, but we didn't quite reach the money we needed to do it in graphic novel format. So we decided to pull back. We worked on some other projects last year, and now we want to come back and we want to bring this back as a single issue. So we're still going to be the same story. It's still just going to break it down now and do 3 individual issues, and we just crowdfund each one of those. That way we can keep the goal more manageable sizes and hopefully still be able to get everyone everything they want.
So the total page count has changed for the one book, but the goal is just to take it basically seriously.
This one's going to be 32 pages. It's going to have 8 pages of your story, the Silver Streak story, and it's going to have 8 pages of Black Terror, which I'm writing, and Chuck Dixon's Cat in Black will also have 8 pages. And then we're making this a 32-page comic. We're actually going to do a surprise bonus story in this one that was not originally going to be a part of the previous campaign. We just figured since we're breaking this into single issues, we could put a little extra in there.
Very cool. Well, nice. I like it's a very simple, straightforward campaign. So what you're getting here is it's I don't know, it's kind of like, I want to say anthology, but I'm careful about that because it's not really like an anthology today. It's like when the Silver Streak was printed, where you'd get a comic book and there would be more substantial story in each one. I mean, I guess that's, at least in my experience, that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Maybe there's a better name for it.
I mean, I guess technically it is anthology in the most truest sense of the word. It's several stories, put together in a single book. No story is really featured more than the other in the sense that we're giving them all the same amount of space. But this is what they did back then, back in the old golden age. A lot of the comics, even things like when Detective Comics got started. If you ever read Detectives 27, Batman's story is actually a very small part of the book. It was just common for them to put a lot of different stories in there with similar themes, and we're just kind of going back and doing the same thing with a lot of the same type of characters, just trying to modernize things a bit.
Nice. Love it. And looking at some of the perks here, so you can get digital. This is, I think, in particularly, it's just good for people that are across the pond. That's usually who asks for digital comics, but you can get the digital version for $5, or the physical hard copies 15. And there's a few different covers there, but they're the same price. You're just picking, your favorite cover. I love this one. This one was on the first campaign, so I'm glad that it stuck around for this one. The Thrilling Comics cover just looks really classic. That one looks great. Then you have the Black Terror cover. This is the Virgin cover.
That's my favorite.
Very
Yeah,
cool cover.
that cover, and we in the foil versions we have the painted cover. That was from the last campaign. The rest of them are new for this campaign. Now we did actually slightly change the original cover to have the cat in black with the new look that we're giving her. She looks more like the original character in the story now.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, so the cat and black cover, which you can see here large right in the center. Who did this? Who did the art here?
His name is John Rhodes. Shannon works with him. You want to tell him a little about John?
Yeah, John and I are working on a few projects of our own right now. One is a new character and old character kind of mix. It's taking the Black Terror and turn it into, it's going to be a female. And some of the stuff on it is really coming together. But we got together here recently, and we're doing quite a few projects. He's a really good guy. He's military, and he's fixing to get out of military, so he's trying to see if he can make it in the comic industry.
Oh, cool. The cover looks fantastic. Great addition to the campaign. Looks really good. And yeah, now that you mention it, I don't know if that cover is on here. I just a quick scroll. Yeah, it's smaller, but yeah, you can definitely see that there is her costumes updated to match. So really cool stuff.
It's actually a funny story about that. It's the same actual piece of art. I contacted Carl Maloney, who's the guy who drew that one.
Yeah.
And I just said, hey, so I don't want to go back to scratch. I really like what you did, but we're changing our outfit. Can you help with that? And he was able to do it, just be able to take the same piece and redo it. Now with Preston's cover, that was different. He's the painted cover.
Yeah.
It's an actual oil painting, or not sure what material he uses. I assume it's oil.
Yeah.
So that you just kind of like, okay, we're just gonna have to leave that is.
Right. It's an amazing cover. Preston Acevedo is a really good painter. Looks fantastic.
And a really good guy.
He is, yeah. He's a very good guy. Yeah, very cool. So that looks good. So you can get the $15 book. That's just simple, straightforward. You get the book. But there's also, this is another new addition, is you can get the holofoil variant covers. That's what I ended up getting because they're just cool.
Yeah.
So so that's $30, which for a foil variant, makes sense. They're significantly more expensive to print, but they just look amazing. So I dig it.
Have you doing that for one of your projects?
I haven't. No, I got some pricing on like foil trading cards, and it was enough to take my breath away. So I'm just like, I haven't really looked into exact prices for the covers, but I've seen a few books that have come out with them, and they're amazing. So I don't know. I might have to try it.
Yeah, I don't know how these are going to compare to what they did with Cyberfrog, because I know that was, I think, what Cyberfrog did is a cut above what we're doing. But actually, it was John Rhodes who turned us on to these holo cover. He does a lot of campaigns. He does them on Kickstarter, though. And the last campaign he did some holo covers, and he said they're pretty amazing.
Yeah, they're cool. I've seen a few just come through because I back so many. They look really nice. Even the foil, Cyberfrog was chromium, which is a little different, but I think he's switched and he's doing foil, at least for a lot of things. It's more of a holo foil and not chromium. That's my understanding.
Yeah, the first Cyberfrog, that was the really rare kind. I haven't seen anyone do that since back in the 90s when they were doing all those exclusive special covers that were really expensive.
Yeah, it's wild. So if you're unsure which one to back, I'm scrolling down here to the bottom, and you get this cover bundle is great if you just want basically one of everything, $45. It's not the holo foil variants, but it's all the regular ones. We've already got 3 people that have claimed that. So that's a good one to go for if you want to just have one of each cover. They make great display items. And then you can get a sketch cover. Who's doing the sketches?
John Rhodes, the guy who did the cat and black cover.
Perfect. Yeah, good choice. Good call. And then if you want the cover bundle with holo foil, it's $120, and that's I'm assuming these are all the hollow covers, right? It's pretty straightforward.
You're basically, with each of the bundles, we're giving you basically one free book. We're charging, in the case of the regular covers, it's 4 for the price of 3, and for the hollows, we have 5 covers, so it's 5 for the price of 4.
Gotcha. Very cool. So it's more economical that way too.
We also have this campaign set up so you can buy add-ons. So you can essentially get anything you want to in any combination. The bundles are your best deal, obviously, if you want to get a bunch of the covers. But if you wanted to get like one hollow cover and you wanted to get a different cover in the regular, you could add those on.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna post the link here in the chat. I think I have not been very good at that tonight so far. So mods, if you've got a wrench, feel free to spam that, and that'll be really helpful. We're talking thrilling comics tonight, and in fact, we've got a video here. So I think why don't we play it? Hold on here. I'm gonna stop sharing. I gotta share the audio. I think I would learn this by now, but okay, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, this is Chuck Dixon talking to you about Thrilling Comics, a new project I am working on to be available through Indiegogo. And I urge you to support this project because it's a good comic, it's a fun comic. Remember good comics? Remember fun comics? Remember the days before the mainstream superhero publishers took us down the nihilistic road to mediocrity? I sure do. And my part of this project is based on Lee Elias's classic Golden Age character, the Black Cat. Now, I've updated it, but I really haven't changed anything. Linda is a stunt woman and an actress by day, and a crime-fighting vigilante known as the Cat in Black by night. It's a Hollywood murder mystery, and it joins 2 other titles in the series featuring a Black Terror and Silver Streak. And each story, after the 3 issues are done, will form a complete standalone story on their own. And all you have to do is go to Indiegogo and lend your support and basically cast your vote for fun comics.
All right. Very cool. It's great to see Chuck Dixon on there too. Oh, can everybody see us? I don't know if they could hear us, but maybe they could hear me. It's cool to see Chuck Dixon again, just making comics. Somebody commented on Twitter today. They said, "Whoa, your name is on the same book with Chuck Dixon. That's insane." It's like, I know. I'm never that never ceases to amaze me. But
Chuck is a really great guy to work with. He's a very humble guy. He works with all sorts of small time creators. He's been that way a long time. Shannon and I know a guy named John Neal who's worked with Chuck. Shannon, when did they do that book together? That was like 2004?
Oh, way back then, yeah. Early 2000s.
Yeah, he was still like doing, this is when Chuck was like still big in his DC run. And I don't know how him and John met, but John was a guy who went to conventions and they probably met it that way. And they got along, and Chuck pitched into his project all those years ago, even before crowdfunding was the thing.
Yeah.
Very cool. So Chuck Dixon, tell me a little bit about his story. I've read the script. I'll say that, but it's been a little while. So I don't know. Tell us for the audience a little bit about Chuck Dixon's story. We'll start there.
So taking, again, all these stories are set in the modern era, even though they're based on Golden Age characters. The original Black Cat was a stunt woman who turned superhero. No powers, but just, I forget the specifics, like of how she got into crime fighting, but that's how she started, as a stunt woman who used her stunt abilities to fight crime. So Chuck's going with a similar idea here, where this character is a star of a movie called Cat in Black, and someone's trying to shut it down by murdering cast members. And she decides to basically take the case on herself. So she's really solving the case as herself, but a lot of the story happens like on set, so she's still in costume and things like that. Pretty fun adventure. So it's very much a sort of action meets classic whodunit story.
Very cool. And everybody, I mean, Chuck Dixon is a fantastic writer. The artwork looks really, really good as well. Is this, I'm trying to remember, is this the same artist that was on it initially when you launched?
Yes, this project, aside from changing her outfit for this relaunch, it's all the same. We haven't done anything else. Your story and my story have different art teams on them. Right. His the same team, including the colorist too, Jerry Lou Smith, who's Shannon's wife.
Yeah.
Did that. He did the previous ones well.
And Joseph Alesco is the artist.
Yeah, I met him when I was working in our press. He drew some stories for me back then. He did the Crimson Scorpion story, that's similar in this idea that it was sort of a Golden Age inspired, but it was an original character that I created.
Yeah, it has the same vibe though, and that's cool too. I can't remember if it was the first issue or something. You gave me a preview of that one, I believe.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, it was really fun. So again, it's been a little while. But yeah, these are, to me, like, it gets back to the essence of comics and sort of the roots of comics. And I like just seeing different creators' takes on those characters. That's the cool thing about the public domain characters, is you get a shot at it as well. So very cool. So that's Chuck Dixon's. And again, if you buy any one of these books, Chuck Dixon's is going to be in there. They're all the same book. So, yeah, it just comes down to which cover. If you're confused about which cover, it's easy just to get all of them here for $45, or you can get all the holofoil ones for $120. One person has already taken you up on that offer. So thank you guys for backing. We really appreciate you. All right, I'm going in order here, and Silver Streak's next. And so this is my story. I'm going to tell everyone a little bit about it. It's been a while again since I promoted this, but this was a really fun opportunity. David reached out to me almost a couple years ago, I think it was, and said, "Hey, do you want to do this story? We're looking at Golden Age characters, and you had, I think Silver Streak was your suggestion, but you gave me a few other examples too." And after I looked into some of these characters, some that I'd never heard of before, I was like, "Yep, Silver Streak he's the cool one." So they were all cool, but Silver Streak's the one I want to work with. So, so I wrote a Silver Streak story. The fun part of it was reimagining the whole thing. This is basically Silver Streak year one. It's the way that I looked at it. In the comics, he has, it's just such a silly story how he gets his powers, but he's driving this car that's really fast, and he gets in a car accident, and this Swami, I don't know if that's politically correct to say or not, but that's what it is in the book, like resurrects him. But along with that, he gives him super speed and this like drive that he has to pursue justice, essentially. And that was actually really interesting to me. The super speed's really interesting, but something that makes the Silver Streak, I think, unique is he had this innate drive to have justice. It was almost like a craving. And so I tried to play with that. And the Swami is in this, but you don't see him. They're connected mentally, and he's sort of in his head. And so that made for some just really fun writing. I think a really fresh take on Silver Streak, and I love this story. I'm really, really proud of it. So I'm really excited to see this thing see print. It'll be a lot of fun. So,
and I really liked the take you did with his powers, because I remember you put thought into some of the challenges there would be if you had super speed, where he has to basically make sure he pre-plans everything, and he doesn't have time to second guess any of his actions, and how there can be consequences with that.
He calculates.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was thinking, what would happen if you were going that fast? What would be your weakness? And while he can run super fast, his brain is still a human brain, so he's not gonna be able to think at that speed. So yeah, it was planning it out, and you make one mistake, it could be deadly. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was it was just fun. Again, I tried to make it a fresh take and a different look on the sort of speedster archetype for a superhero. So really, really cool stuff. We'll move on down the line here to Black Terror. And Shannon, you're right. This cover is
It's
popping.
amazing.
It's so good. Yeah, really cool. Tell us about the Black Terror. Black Terror.
So this was originally designed to be a follow-up to a story I had written a number of years ago for Anarch Press, but Anarch Press decided at the time that they didn't want to use Black Terror anymore. So the story was mine, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to do my own project. So I pulled it out and used it for Thrilling. The idea is that the current Black Terror is not the descendant of the original Black Terror, but the descendant of the original Kid Terror. So it's current day, many years later. He's the grandson of the current Black Terror, or the previous
Get there.
Terror. And in this story, there is someone who looks like and acts just like the original Black Terror who's going out committing horrific crimes. As this story starts, this other Black Terror breaks into a building to kidnap a senator. Perhaps a little bit too on the nose for the current politics, but keep in mind, I did write this 2 years ago. So, yeah, and it's not DC, so that makes all the difference in the world. Anyway, so the Black Terror is after this senator, and the real Black Terror has to stop him. So the question is who's this fake Black Terror, and why is he after politicians? Why is he committing crimes?
Yeah, that's a really cool story. I love that you see two on the cover, because at first, like, I think, oh, it's one of those shots where he's moving, and so that's why he's there twice.
Yeah.
No, they're both full color. No one's desaturated here. It's sort of the, I think of that meme almost with the two Spider-Mans pointing at each other. It's a really, really fun story. This is another one. I read the script for this as well. Really good. I think people are going to enjoy it. And the artwork is amazing. You can just look at this panel here with that action, that punch in the face. I can feel it from here.
Yeah, the artist on this is Alex Benhosie. He's also working on a project of mine called Knox County. And we got together a couple years ago, and he's going to be a superstar one of these days. I can tell that.
Oh yeah, he's great. Actually, if you mind, Clint, there's an Indiegogo campaign right now called Knox County. If you can pull it up, we can show you some more of his art. It's really amazing stuff.
Knox County.
Yes, KNOX.
With a K.
Oh,
This is my project. I did a Kickstarter last month, and I think I raised around $15,000 on it.
that with a CK at the end.
No, X in the end.
Okay, that's what I did at first.
KNOX.
Okay. Knox County.
Oh, there it is.
He did that right there.
Yeah, all that art.
Fantastic! Wow,
And my wife did the colors on all of it.
that's
That
excellent.
obviously is a little more adult themed than what we're doing with Thrilling Comics.
Well, there's nothing that needs censoring.
It's censored already.
yeah. It is. Wow, very cool. Really fantastic art too. He has great poses, I think, or that's one thing I really like about him. Again, that punch was just really good. Colors look great too.
I love that page right here.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying working with him. He's like I said, he's doing the Black Terror story, and we're actually going to do another Kickstarter with him here in a couple of months. So a great guy to work with. And Shannon's right; he's basically got all the talent he needs to go as far as he wants. So we're glad to get him while he's willing to work with small guys like us.
Yeah, really cool. Well, we'll jump back to the Thrilling Comics campaign. Oh, I was just there basically anyway. There we are. We're up to $670. Thanks to everybody who's backed the campaign. We appreciate it. 17 backers. And the goal is only $1,500 this time around. And so it looks like we're already well on the way there. If you haven't backed it yet, check it out. I'm going to post the link. I think mods are also posting the link, so appreciate everybody. K Manifesto just beat me to it. But
Yeah, it's a lot easier to keep the cost down when you're doing with single issues than doing a full trade. And with the hollow foil covers are expensive to print. You're right, but that's why we're charging so much. And the place that we're getting them from will actually do like true print on demand, where you can have as few as one print. So
wow.
if we only sell 3, then we won't lose any money because we're charging enough that even if we just have that few printed, we
Right.
make a bit on it.
So that's the other thing too, is that you will so you got the $1,500 flexible goal, and then the question is always, what if you get $2,000? Is that enough to make the book? Costs are lower on this, or you're paying for it. If you're getting the hollow cover, you're paying for the hollow cover.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not really what the hang up is at all. Obviously, want to see this get as high as it can get, but
right. And I mean, it's a flex goal. So this time we're printing the first issue no matter what happens at this point. It's the degree of success just depends on where we go next. That's really the question.
Right. Very cool. Yeah. So that's a investment up front. I'm kind of doing a similar thing with Downcast 3 because I'm just financing the whole thing first, which is sometimes stressful. I'll just think like, I hope people back this. But that's I don't know. Sometimes that's what you need to do in comics.
Well, you've already got a Downcast following. Plus, you've got a comic deal. How's that working out?
Yeah, so far so good. With Alterna Comics, it's pretty cool to have them be released in single issues, a newsprint nonetheless. But I don't know. I'm still waiting. I know they're at the printer. I don't think he has them just yet, but it should be like any day now. He'll have them from the printer. So I'm looking forward to getting those copies in my hands. That'll be awesome.
So the first issue hasn't shipped?
Not yet. No. It's supposed to be shipping this month. I need to check in with Peter though. I've been a little MIA lately, so I need to check in and see where it's at. But yeah, I know he sent the files to the printer and it was at the printer. So
cool.
I guess we'll see.
Now, do I recall over the pandemic that he withdrew from Diamond?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
How do you know how that's going for them? Are they just be able to work around Diamond no problem?
So he says that he's selling more now than he was before with Diamond. I think part of it was just being a smaller publisher with Diamond too. They kind of give you the back seat. I don't know all the specific details, but it sounds like Alterna is doing really well, and he's just really focused on selling through the website and direct to consumer. So
you just don't make hardly any money doing printing through comic stores, to be honest, with the Diamond model, with the current model. I mean, to make money that's decent, you really need to be one of the major publishers.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, I don't know, it's like partially as a creator, you want it to be in a comic book shop because it's one of those bucket list things, like you just want to see it on the shelf. But at the same time, you're likely not going to see it on the shelf. You're gonna be ordering a special order through the comic book shop, or like, you know what I mean? Like you go through this big logistical system in order to get the comic shop to get your book, and then it makes sense why it's just easier for people to go buy at the website. So I don't know. It's a struggle unless you're Marvel or DC that they're already buying your books. Well, I don't know.
Well, Dave and I have both been printed and put into comic shops, and it really didn't equate to any money. So it's neat to have the dream of being on the shelves, but it's a lot of work for very little, money or even praise. I mean,
just doing what you're doing, Clint, and what Shannon and I are trying to do more of. It's the only thing that really makes sense for small creators right now. Now, I was telling Shannon, when he did his Knox County campaign on Kickstarter, did very well, so he's already made a profit on that. And I told him, like, hey, there's no reason not to publish it through whoever is interested in publishing it, because at that point it's gravy. But if he had gone into it with the idea of, I'm just going to publish this through a small publisher, then he wouldn't be, at best he'd be breaking even. And now he's already turned his money like 3 or 4 times. So, I mean, it just goes to show. And I'm sure that you'll probably notice the same, that most of your money you're going to be getting on Downcast is going to be through your campaigns and probably less through Alterna, but you might do better with Alterna just because they're cutting out the middleman.
Yeah, I want to kind of talk about that a little bit more too. Let me first hit this $20 super chat from Wondrous History of Classic
Wow.
Film. Thank you very much. He said, "Looks good, man. Consider this a donation and good luck, my man." I appreciate it. Thank you. Wondrous History of Classic Film. Thank you. Yeah, so that's the thing is I'm not really okay. So a little story for you. I discovered this guy that makes videos about me. He does not post them on YouTube. He posts them on like was it Vimeo or something like that. And so I watched 2 of his videos, and he's highly critical of me, which is fine. But one of his criticisms was, why would I back your book on Indiegogo if I can buy it through Alterna for a lot cheaper, you know? And that therefore you're ripping people off because you could be selling it for $1.99 and you're selling it for crowdfunding prices. The thing is though, $1.99 comic book doesn't really pay a creative team, especially through Diamond. Like you're not actually, it would just have to be a passion project. That's it. Because you're just not going to make very much money doing it, if any money at all. And so, it doesn't even cover the costs. So with crowdfunding, you can do a premium book, and I'm doing more story in one bite. That's sort of my plan I'm moving toward, is doing a trade paperback. The first one and the second one were each 2 issues long. The third one is going to be 3 issues long plus a preview. And so I'm just moving it up so you get more issues, and it's going to be a true trade paperback is the goal. And then you do the single issues later, which makes a lot of sense. It takes the risk out of single issue selling, and it makes sure you can cover your costs. And then it provides me with the ability to reinvest more into comics and doing some really big stuff like Fatal, which is huge, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, like to me, they work together well. Just getting your book out there and publishing it through a small publisher through Diamond, it's cool, you know, and you might make a little bit of money, but you're talking not like very, very little money for compared, especially relative to how much work it is.
Yeah, I mean, your critic brings up an interesting point that I hear debated a lot, and that, you know, there's 2 schools of thought about what crowdfunding is. Some people, like this critic of yours, he's looking at it as a simple retail transaction, like it's no different than anything else. But Kickstarter was created, like the whole name Kickstart. It's the idea if you want to do something, you don't have the funds for it, so you're basically petitioning people for the funds and offering them something if they'll help you start your project. Now that's not. Things have changed a little bit since then. I mean, you know, if it was true kickstarting, you and I would probably just have the one book and then do everything else ourselves instead of doing the multiple campaigns on there. But there's still the idea that you're trying to do something that you can't do commercially,
Right?
because and that's very true with comics. Look, you know, you go and I think with Comic-Con doesn't show the numbers anymore, but if you look at like 2019 and 2020 numbers on what top 500 books. If you're not Marvel, you're not DC, most of Dark Horse, Image, Dynamite, and Boom, then you're not hitting 10,000 or more print runs. And if you're not hitting 10,000 more print runs, you're not really making some money. I mean, like Shannon worked on a project that actually for AP that got to it was Leave On the Lights. Do you remember? Like, that was about 5,000 or 6,000 printed maybe on that one, Shannon.
Yeah, but where the money was on the special covers.
Right. So, but you know, and he got paid for that, and it was pretty cool. But it was not like, you know, that being like one of the best books AP's had in a long time. I mean, he still only makes like a few $100s for his portion.
Yeah.
And no one's ripping him off. It's just that it's, you know, it's like when you take all the, you know, what you get from Diamond and you're splitting it with other creators and the publisher gets some, and, you know, there's just not a lot of money left.
Well, Diamond takes 60%, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's off the cover price. Now, if you, because if Shannon could take like a book like that, like Knox County, and sell 5,000 at $4 a pop and keep all that money, then sure. but that's, Clint, that's not the way that it works.
The other part of that too is selling 5,000 copies. So the numbers on crowdfunding are lower as far as number of sales transactions, generally speaking, not always. But those are individual people. Like, yeah, you might get some people that are backing a couple times, but that's the minority of backers. Most of them, you're actually reaching unique backers. When you're going through Diamond as well, you have some shops that are rolling the dice and buying several copies, for the shops.
Yep.
And then they have those books, and I'm grateful for comic shops that they do that. But it's just a little different because it doesn't necessarily relate to, hey, because you're going through Diamond, you're getting more readers. You still have to send readers there to get your books, or comic book shops are taking the risk. They're shouldering the risk, buying those books, putting them on shelves, and hoping to sell a book. So I don't know. It gets a little bit more muddy for sure when you go through the whole distribution system. And I'm not against it. Like, Diamond's great, and I don't mind. I mean, I'm going to take that back. Diamond's not great. It's got a problem. But putting a book through Diamond, right? There's nothing wrong with putting a book through Diamond, But to think that in and of itself is going to make you at least break even with your book is just a mistake. Yeah, that usually is not happening unless you've got a title that people are already interested in getting, and so you got to sell it yourself. If you're selling it yourself, it kind of makes more sense to just make it easy for people and sell it direct.
Yeah, I want to go back to your critic on what he said. Okay, so here's the logic on that. He says that you're ripping him off because you can sell it for $1.99, right?
If I work for free, yeah.
Yeah.
Or take
Now,
loss.
now,
Yeah.
well, let's think a little harder on this now. If you hadn't done the crowdfunding campaign, would you have got that deal to sell the book for $1.99?
Yeah,
Most
that's
likely not.
but likely not. That's a great point, because crowdfunding opens up opportunities for publishing that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah.
It takes the risk off the creators, but it also takes the risk from the publisher, because you've already demonstrated that your concept can sell and that there's an audience of people that will buy it.
Yes.
And so that minimizes the risk. With Downcast in particular, honestly, it's been so long since I signed the contract. I honestly can't remember if it was signed before I launched the campaign or after I launched the campaign. But I have to think that it helps. I'll have to ask Peter Samedi about it.
I think I asked you about this back in the day, and I think you said it was after.
After, okay, I believe that. Again, it was so long ago. I'm like trying to remember the order of events. But
and something else that people like this critic need to keep in mind too. I mean, if he's the guy who just wants to read a story and wants to find the cheapest way to get it, then maybe doing crowdfunding, buying crowdfunding is not for him.
yeah.
But comic book is a market where the physical product you get makes a difference. People like versions of things, that first prints, variations. What you're buying with Downcast #1 is not what you sold on the campaign, even though the art and story are contained.
You get some of, and again too, it's half of the first one. You get the first 26 pages, but it was 52 pages total.
Yeah.
Downcast Volume 1. So you're getting part of it, and that's why I'm trying to move more into. I do $20 for Downcast. It's a $20 book. Like here, this is a $15 book. Usually people are thinking, oh, that's $25, and sometimes that's the case, but it's not always the case.
And for collectors out there, there's still first editions, first printings. That stuff matters, especially exclusive printings. You look at Jawbreakers. Jawbreakers, the very first graphic novel. I haven't looked it up online for a while, but I know that on eBay it was selling for quite a bit more than Richard was selling for in his campaign.
Yeah.
First, I saw a 9.8. They were officially graded 9.8 go for like $500, like sometime last year. Had he gotten the deal with Antarctic Press and it had actually gone through, I don't think it would have changed the fact that his original book still could sell for $50 to $100 on eBay. Whereas the AP version might have sold very well, but would not have the collectability. And we know this because we could look at Rags, another AP book that they did print around the same time, which initially was a crowdfunding campaign. That being a little different, that was done through Patreon. But still, it was raised through crowdfunding and then released. Now, in that case, the AP book, the first issue, actually was worth some decent money. It went up to about $100. But while that was going up to $100, the crowdfunded version, which is really just a different logo on the cover and nothing else, went up to like $200, $300.
Yeah.
Hey, Clint, I want to tell you something about a few weeks ago. You did a show on what is it, Common America, and Tim Lynn.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't quite know who he was, right?
I streamed with him one time. I don't know him real well, and I don't know his business model real well. But I just looked at Common America and I was like, "Holy crap!" He's.
I want to tell you a little something about it.
Yeah.
Tim is actually the one that was behind getting Richard to go to AP.
Interesting.
So he was the one that kind of, let AP know, hey, this guy's somebody. He's going to be somebody.
He suggested. Yeah. Oh.
So I just wanted to kind of fill in the blanks there for you.
Tim's done a lot of work with AP in the past. I don't know the extent, honestly, of his history with them. I know, of course, the Black Ops series is his most recent thing that he's done with AP.
Yeah.
I think it was part of that Strike Force America, or what was it, with Trump?
Possibly. I just remember like back
Space Force, I think is what it was.
Space. Yeah, that was one. Black Ops. He did. Didn't he do another Trump one too? I can't remember the name of it. But it's just interesting. I always looking at different small publisher guys that are getting their books out there, and hit with Common America. I'm like, I don't fully know his formula, but he's growing significantly with each campaign. It's doing very well.
I see Queen's post there. I was going to actually address that because I could speak a little bit to that since I've worked with AP. First of all, on most of AP books, they're a little lower than what she's saying. I like the average one. Now, at some of their main books, like Exciting Comics, which I have worked on, horror comics do between 3,000 and 4,000 sometimes, and sometimes less. Rags, at its height, did actually make 10 grand in sales. I don't mean like dollars. I mean like
10 grand books sold.
1,000 books.
Yeah, so at its height, it did not keep those numbers up. That was just kind of where it peaked. So Richard would have been limited with what he could have gotten through AP, just because there's a lot of stores out there, and there was the whole controversy of like where stores boycott them. Well, the thing about a company like AP is a lot of stores don't order from them just because they're a small company and they only want to order DC and Image books.
Right.
I live in Dallas, and I know there's a couple of stores around here that carry AP books because they're a Texas publisher. So they're a little better known down here, but most of the comic stores down here don't. My local comic shop that I go to all the time is very good about small independents, and so they pretty much always have AP books. A lot of other places around here don't have it. It's not anything against them. They're not Marvel, they're not Image, they're not DC, they're not Dark Horse, and they just don't. It's the whole thing with comic stores. They're not selling as many books as they used to. So what are they going to cut first?
Right.
You're going to cut.
I still believe that Richard's book would have been the best-selling book for AP ever. Well, in the last 15, 20 years anyway.
Well, yeah, because at one point, AP, I think like Warrior Nun actually got up. So I don't think it actually reached 100,000, but it was like high five-digit figures for a while.
Wow.
But that was way back in the day.
I think it would have definitely been huge for him. I think ultimately the way that it turned out, I think he's probably great. I mean, to own your own, and I don't know what the publishing deal entails or anything like that, what it entailed, but I mean, he's doing great. So I think he's doing good.
Yeah, he'll be okay.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of the interesting thing too, is as more publishers start to accept crowdfunding, I think it gets a little bit better. Things do get better for sure. Seeing Image be willing to have Scott Snyder launch his own. He's got his own imprint now. Launch his book. I forget the name of it, but they're also going to be publishing it through Image. That's kind of a big deal in that Image is, especially as far as small publishers go, they set a lot of trends. And so I expect there to be more of that going forward. My deal with Alterna Comics has been really great because I creatively can do whatever I want. It's still my property. I do the book, make sure it's funded up front. Like I said with Downcast Volume 3, I'm literally funding everything up front myself, except for the lettering. I'm going to need crowdfunding to help me with that. But we're going to have everything else. We're doing it ahead of time, then crowdfund it, make sure people get that prestige copy that has more pages, really nice print job, thick pages. And then it goes to Alterna. And so I think it's cool. It gives everybody wins in that situation. I can't think of anybody that loses. The publisher, the reader, you can get a less expensive version if you want. You can get the premium version if you want. There are no letterers that are going unpaid. No artists going unpaid. Everyone's getting paid for the work that they do. So I think it's great. All right.
Do you
well,
stuff, Clint?
Sorry, what's that?
Do you letter your own stuff?
No. I have Eric Weathers do it. I tried lettering a little bit. By the way, you just hit $800 on Indiegogo. Thank you, everybody that's back Thrilling Comics. That's awesome. That's thrilling. I tried lettering a little bit. I have the tools to do it, and I think I could learn to do it, but Eric just does a much better job. So I just pay him to do it. So
he does everybody's though.
He does a lot. Yeah, he's got a lot of experience lettering.
Yeah. I don't see how he does all that lettering and other people's or his own books.
Yeah. Let's see. Lightning Fan says, if you need an editor, I'm here. That's good to know. I actually use editors are one thing that I end up using many editors for different things. So that's good to know. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you are an editor or a letterer or a color, or if you're anything, letting people know that you're open for business is really smart. Because otherwise I wouldn't know that you are an editor.
Yeah, I'd be interested if there's someone out there who's an editor who can, it's a few credentials, so I know it's not just some guy who doesn't know how to spell.
We already have those kind of guys.
Yeah, that's what I got Shannon for.
Exactly.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you have it right. Yeah, put it out there. I don't know if you have a website or something, like let people know what you've edited before, what your experience is. That's super helpful. So. All right, so Fizz Pops is here. He says, "I'm coming in late. Is that the Black Terror? That is the Black Terror, and these are Golden Age comic titles. They've been we've taken them over essentially. We've done our own versions. So this book, you get 3 different stories in one. One of them written by Chuck Dixon, 3 different Golden Age superheroes." And really great. So Cat in Black is the first story. This is Chuck Dixon's story. Fantastic cover. Fantastic interior art. Looks really, really good. And I've read the script, and it's really good. It makes me like, I need to be like Chuck. He's so good. Silver Streak. This is my story I wrote. I'm very proud of it. So I'm excited for this to see print. And there's some of the interior art right there. It's a speedster with almost like he's got schizophrenia, really, if I think about it. So that's fun. Black Terror is the 3rd story in here. Not necessarily in that order. I don't know what order the stories actually show up in. But fantastic art. That cover is just great. That's popping. And there's some interior art, also fantastic. So you get 3 great stories, and then the plan is for there to essentially be a trilogy for these Thrilling Comics stories. So you're going to continue each story in each issue. Did I get everything right there?
Yep. And I'm hoping if this one is a smashing success, we're just going to go ahead and plow through issue 2 and 3 and get those knocked out as quickly as possible.
Nice. So I posted the link there. I think mods have been doing a really good job of posting links. But yeah, Thrilling Comics. Check it out right now on Indiegogo. It just hit $800. It just launched too. Notice it's a flexible goal. This book is happening. So I don't know. It's exciting to see. Yeah, I don't know where the message alerts are coming from, but it's usually my video. I'm making a video and I've got lots of stuff up and they're chiming from me. So I need to get my stuff worked out. Thanks, C Money. Let's see. Joe for $2.99. Thank you. Says love the channel. Have a light beer on me. Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Is that your preferred beer?
It would be non-alcoholic beer. I don't drink.
I don't either. Neither does David.
Okay.
Never got why people like the taste of alcohol. So I know people out there think beer is awesome. If you do, more power to you. But I don't get it.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Then this is weird. This is the dry stream then.
Yeah, definitely.
Those seem rare nowadays.
We spend all our money on paying artists.
Yeah, who's got time to get drunk?
I know it was crazy. I'm doing my tax stuff, and you can imagine with last year I had Downcast 2 and Fatal in the same year, and it was like, oh my gosh, like working through the taxes, it just made me realize how much money I pay everybody. It just like it comes here and then it all goes. So, but that's how that's how you make comics.
That's it.
Yeah, the more you can do yourself, it's one of the things though that you and I, Clint, that we share is we're not artistic people, so we have to really depend on others. Well, in Shannon's case, he's not a penciler, but he can ink, he can color. So when he did Knox County, he did get Alex to do all the line art, but he was able to, him and Jerry work on the colors and do all the campaigns and lettering and stuff themselves. So, that helps you make some money if you can have those other skills.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
My wife and I both have graphic design degrees from the last few years. Decided to go back to college at age 46. So,
yeah, that's a good one, especially for comics. Well, one thing I realized is with lettering, it throws me off so much when there's not good lettering, and that's part of the reason why I hire Eric, just because I know that my lettering, I would have to get a lot more practice, but it's one of those things that if you have some graphic design experience or knowledge, then you can lay things out in a much more pleasing way, and it makes sense, even down to, everything. Just laying out a page, you can tell when somebody has a good knack for design, even when they're the penciler. It really comes into play and it helps. So, yeah, I like it. Yeah, C Money says Eric's lettering was top notch in Downcast. Eric just did a logo for me too. Can I show this? Oh, why not? Oh,
yeah, do it.
Let me find it real quick. He did a logo for me, and I'm excited about it. So it'll be for the preview story. I was telling people I was going to draw it myself, and I changed my mind. I chickened out because I don't think I'm good enough. So I'm going to get a real artist to draw it. But let me just see if I can find it. Sorry, guys. I'm having a hard time talking and looking.
No problem.
Tell me about logo design. I don't know.
Well, that's over your area, Shannon.
I get my son to do it. He's better at logos than I am.
Yeah, that's one of the things too. I've done some logos. I did a logo for Downcast, and it was just I couldn't tell what was wrong with it. And then I had Eric do a logo. That was the first time I ever hired him to do something for me. And I was like, okay, yep, you're hired. It just looks so much better than what I did. So okay, there it is. Let me get this correct in the screen, and we'll get people's opinions here. So this is just for the backup story, and I have two logos.
Pretty cool.
They're
Cool.
very, very similar. There's the top one and the bottom one. And the only difference is where the little helmet thing, diver's helmet is.
Yeah.
So if you guys have an opinion on which one,
So it's supposed to be like a more of like a 1950s theme or kind of a retro-y story.
Yes, definitely retro. It's supposed to, it's about the sea and sea monsters. There's going to be some of that action. Yeah, it should be fun. So it's actually a character that'll be in Downcast 3, and it's going to be his origin story. So I'm really excited for it. It's been one I think about all the time because I've so many cool ideas for it. I'm looking forward to it. So it'll just be the backup story. If people really like it, though, I'm going to continue the backup story and make it a bigger story. Not in the same campaign. We'd do it later, but yeah. Let's see.
I think the bottom one. I mean, they're both great. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with the bottom one.
Yep, I think that's
so too.
Yeah, I like the bottom one as well. That's what I was leaning toward as well. I don't know why. It's just something about it being sooner works for me. So I like it. So yeah, logo design. That was Eric. That was your sneak peek, everyone.
Nice.
Very cool. And what did you say that was going to be in?
Well, so I'm going to launch it. The plan's to launch it as soon as I fulfill Fatal. So right now how many pages are we into it? 31 pages are inked and almost all colored. Can't remember how many pages are colored, but there's only a few pages left to color, like 4 out of those. And then we're going to go for the next 20-page, stretch. So there's going to be 60 pages in the main story, and then we're going to do 10 pages for the backup story. That's the plan. So I don't know when it's going to launch. Technically, I could launch it at any time, but I don't know. I'm going to hold off. We'll just keep working on the story and keep working on Fatal, and I'll launch it. Hopefully, the plan is Fatal will be finished. I'll ship it out, and then we'll launch Downcast 3. That's the plan. And it'll be a completed book at the same time.
You don't want to be like Richard Myers and have 20 campaigns going at once?
I actually asked him about that. I said, because the weird thing about crowdfunding is it doesn't, you're still waiting. You know what I mean? Like it takes you still the same amount of time to produce it and to fulfill it and everything. So you make some money and then you're just stopping basically. So it doesn't make a lot of sense business wise to work that way. So I get why he just launches campaigns as they're ready to launch. But I'm nervous about backers coming to back the next one when the last one wasn't fulfilled. So I asked him about that, and he just said he wasn't sure, but he has to do it. So I don't know.
As far as in the world of crowdfunding, he's a superstar. So I think he's able to do things like that. I don't know. I myself would be a little leery to do it unless I had a big audience, just because for the reasons you're saying.
Yeah.
And I'm used to dealing at Kickstarter. Kickstarter is actually an easier platform to work in for smaller creators. Indiegogo is really set more for people who already have some kind of audience or a media presence. But in Kickstarter, you can only they literally won't let you have 2 active campaigns.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think Indiegogo used to not let you, but they've become a little bit more lenient with it. And I don't know if it's for everybody or what. I've never tried it. So, but I have a contact over there now. I know who to call or ask. I'm hoping, though, that people will see, I've got 2 campaigns fulfilled. I'm doing the 3rd one. And, you just sort of build up trust over time. But I don't know. I'm still nervous. I'm ready to launch that campaign. I could at any time, but we'll wait because we have to produce it anyway. So it's fine. But Thrilling Comics looks fantastic. I'm excited about this book. I'm going to post the link again, and I'm assuming you guys are going to be doing the run and be on streams and stuff over the next few weeks.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so. That's the plan.
Well, we've got 2 campaigns going. He's got Thrilling in his name, and I'm doing Knox, so we're going to have to be everywhere at once.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going to be our own little Silver Streaks.
That's right. Can you think faster than
No,
me?
I can't. Way too old for that.
I know I can't. Yeah, our couple says Zach gets a special dispensation about doing multiple campaigns because he's Zach. Yeah. He also gets away with the long ranty videos for his campaign video.
Yeah.
I did one like that, and everyone made fun of it. No, I'll never do one like that again. They're only going to be nice trailers here. Simon said, "Oh, go ahead."
I think Richard, he's kind of like me and David. He has too many ideas.
Yeah.
We have how many projects do we have just sitting right now, David?
I'm not exactly sure, but I was thinking about the other night, if we could just basically start blowing through the projects we had in a year, if we had that kind of money and following, we could do 6 or 7 campaigns.
I mean, we have a lot of projects that are already drawn, just sitting.
Well, we got one that's sitting.
Well, we got Frontier Graveyard, we got Portal Hunters.
Frontier Graveyard still needs a little work. We're getting that done.
I mean, it's drawn.
Yeah, the line art's ready. And then we got an issue of Portal Hunters, and then I guess that's really it. Because we're still working on the new Mobster Graveyard.
You're going to be working on Garn.
Yeah.
I've got 2 or 3 projects of my own. So I mean, I can see where Richard, he just can't stop thinking. He's gonna write. And it's the same. I'm sure with all of us, we have so many ideas that we want to get out there. Before we finish one, we've already got another idea for something else.
Well, he is also he's not actually just doing all his own stuff either, because he's got Expendables.
Yeah.
And then Nexus was a part of one of his campaigns.
Yeah. I think Chuck is doing some of the Expendables though.
Yeah, I think Chuck wrote the main story.
Yeah.
And because Chuck I know that Chuck brought Expendables to Richard.
Yeah.
That's how we got that deal. I do know that. And then he's also the current project the one he just got done with Narwhal. As I understand, that's mostly as far as most of the work's being done by Narwhal on that. So it's not that he's just like the only person, writing everything that he does. He is kind of in a way making a studio.
Yeah.
But,
he really is. It kind of reminds me of like one of the Image studios,
Yeah.
Like he's sort of moving that direction, which is really cool to see. That like publishing other people's stuff is cool. I don't know. I've thought about that a little bit. Like, could I do that? I appreciate C-Money says that he ordered Downcast 1 and 2 and he got them in less than a week. If anybody can juggle multiple campaigns, it's you, Clint. Thank you. I think I can. I'm just worried about backers following me along that line. That's what I worry about.
I would worry about the family life too.
well,
I mean, it can get a little crazy for sure. Yeah, it was one of those things. I'm like, I can't do anything, and that's the tough thing when you're a writer. It's like I can't do anything right now on Fatal. Like it's just in artist colorers' hands. They're working, but I can't do anything. And so that's why I was like, okay, well, I got to move on. And I wrote a little something for Narwhal. A very little something. I put together the campaign for Downcast 3. Like I said, it's like ready to go if I wanted to.
Gotcha.
So I don't know, you move on, but at the same time, it's like business wise, you have to, like, cash flow is one of the main things. You got to be making sales. And I don't know, like I'm just trying to figure out how the model works best with crowdfunding. So, but it's a good learning experience. I'm a lot farther along than I used to be, for sure.
You were also talking on your show a couple days ago about a website.
Yes.
And you were trying to figure out, if it's worth it or whatever. I think you have to use all the tools that you have. So maybe website, crowdfunding, and you were saying also, coming up with other ideas.
Yes.
I think in the comic industry today, at least for people like us, we've got to use every available, source we can.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm putting together a website. I'm trying to fill it out with some things. But yeah, I've even thought, I wonder if you had a book pre-funded, it's already there in existence, could you just launch it on your own website? How would it affect things? I don't know. It would be a little bit of a risk, I guess, instead of going through crowdfunding. But I don't know. I don't know. I think it's worth at least thinking about. I'm going to explore it a little bit.
How I would do it would be still do your crowdfunding, but maybe drive them to your website by special editions of what you're doing on crowdfunding that they can only get through it first. That'll
Yeah.
get them going there, and then eventually, you could wean off from the funding a little bit.
Yeah. I think there are a few different ways we could go about doing it for sure. So yeah, I'll be launching the website. I don't have a date or anything, but I'm working on it, and I'll get it up, and I don't know, we'll see what we can do with it. It'll be interesting to see. So everybody check out Thrilling Comics #1 right now on Indiegogo. I posted the link. I think I'll post it again. I thought I just posted it, but maybe I didn't.
Hey, Clint, before you wrap up, that's something I want to show you. So, I don't know if you can see this well.
Make you large. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Oh wow!
Shannon, did I show that to you, Shannon?
I hadn't seen it. No.
Okay, so I don't know if you know what this is. So this is done by a company called, I think it's Fresh Monkey is who does it. It was originally a Kickstarter campaign, but they do action figures in the style of the 1980s Secret War Marvel line, but they're all public domain characters. Actually, they have some that aren't public domain. They apparently do some licensing, but mostly it's public domain characters. Anyway, one of the first ones they did was Silver Streak. And this is actually really hard to find because once they stop making them, they're out. But the manufacturer just found a crate of these in their warehouse, and they tried to blow them out for really cheap to get them. So I picked up one for me, and I picked up one for you. So this is going to be yours.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'll send it to you when I send you your comp copies. But I saw that, and I'm like, that's just too cool to pass up.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. I appreciate that.
Actually, I think they have another campaign running now where they're doing female characters because the Secret Wars line originally was all male characters. So they've come up with a model that looks like the old Secret Wars line, but works well with female designs.
That's so cool. Nice. That'll be really cool to have it in my collection.
Do you ever collect any action figures or anything? Does your collecting extend that direction?
Not. I don't have any that are unopened. I've got a Beast Wars. I've got some HeroClix, like stuff like that. But it's all been opened. But I don't know. The more that honestly Ethan's been showing off, or he's shown off some of the stuff that he has and things, I can see why it would be cool. But I'll hang it up back here. I got to have more stuff to hang up. So
the cool thing about this is it actually is not sealed. So the back folds open, so you could actually take it out and display it,
Oh, that's awesome! I love that. Well, cool.
Yeah, something I would definitely love to do at some point is make action figures of some of my characters, but that's a much tougher market to crack.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to start. It's cool though. Like this will count. I'll still brag to people. Like, I wrote this character.
They also
at some point.
They also did the public domain Daredevil, and when I ordered this one, I ordered that one. And I had done a public domain Daredevil story when I was working with AP and Exciting Comics, and I don't know if you can see this, but it actually says Exciting Comics on here. So that for me was super cool because it's literally like having an action figure of what I had did.
Oh, that's so cool! Awesome.
It would be cool if this had said Thrilling on it, but sorry, you'll have to just take
it. Nice. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. And Thrilling Comics is really close, really, really close to $900. I appreciate everybody that backed tonight. We're up to 25 backers. And it's just, we're within the first few hours of the campaign. So thanks to everybody that backed it. If you haven't backed it, maybe you're watching after we're off the air. It's a good time to do so. Help us get past that $1,500 mark and onward to the future. So thank you. And appreciate both of you guys being on tonight. I have to get going. But Shannon, it's great to talk to you again.
You too. You too.
And David, of course, always great to talk to you.
Yes, thanks very much. I appreciate you hosting this. Appreciate everything you're doing and love your story in there.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm proud to be part of the team. So it'll be great. So great to talk to all of you guys and help us push Thrilling Comics so that we can get it out there to the world. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video.